Good evening and welcome to tonight's special report. I'm Veer, here to report on and examine one of the most far-reaching financial scandals of our time, the rapid rise and catastrophic collapse of FTX. Founded by Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX was a cryptocurrency exchange. FTX's growth was swift. Launched in 2019, it quickly gained attention for its user-friendly platform and innovative tools, reaching a massive valuation of $32 billion by 2021, with backing from investors like Sequoia Capital and SoftBank. At its peak, having billions of dollars traded every day, with millions of people across the world using the platform. Bankman-Fried portrayed FTX as a mission-driven company, even pledging his own wealth to global causes. But in 2022, the illusion that FTX had created about its practices shattered. Within days, FTX imploded, exposing a web of mismanagement, deception, and fraud that left shareholders at every level facing enormous losses. So what went wrong? How did FTX fall so quickly from a trusted industry leader to a cautionary tale of corporate collapse? Over the next few minutes, we'll dissect how these unethical practices came to light, the broader impact on stakeholders, how Sam Bankman's actions violated corporate social responsibility throughout his disregard for accountability, transparency, respect for stakeholder interests, for the law, and ethical behavior, as well as what effects Sam Bankman's actions had on FTX and the future of cryptocurrency as a whole. The story of FTX's implosion isn't just about corporate missteps. It's about deliberate, ethically reprehensible decisions that put millions of customers and investors at risk. FTX was a major player in the corporate crypto world, founded on the premise of innovation, transparency, and responsibility in the highly speculative field of cryptocurrency. But behind the scenes, a very different reality was unfolding, built on layers of deception that would ultimately devastate the industry. At the heart of this scandal was an interconnected relationship between FTX and a private hedge fund also owned by Bankman-Fried, Alameda Research, a cryptocurrency trading firm headquartered in Hong Kong. Alameda was allowed to borrow almost unlimited funds from FTX. However, instead of drawing from separate, disclosed financial accounts in an unethical way, the capital Alameda accessed was mostly sourced directly from FTX's customer deposits, without declaration, consent, or authorization. The money taken was used by Alameda to cover its trading losses and for more speculative, high-risk trading. When Alameda needed more cash, it simply borrowed directly from FTX, using FTX customer assets as collateral. The scandal first surfaced when CoinDesk, a cryptocurrency-focused news outlet, published a report revealing irregularities in Alameda Research. They uncovered that a substantial part of Alameda's assets was backed not by stable reserves, but by FTT, which is FTX's own native cryptocurrency, and they held approximately $5 billion in holdings. The problem with FTT is that it was a crypto token that could not be easily exchanged for cash. This setup indicated that the financial stability of both FTX and Alameda were dependent on each other, and stoked fears about the capital reserves at Alameda Research and, by extension, FTX. The real problems began when Binance, a rival cryptocurrency, liquidated its holdings of FTT, signaling a lack of confidence in FTX's stability. The sell-off triggered a sharp decline in FTT's value, sparking panic among different FTX's customers. After this dip in price, Binance tried to acquire FTX, but then backed off, citing issues with finances and investigative problems involving the United States government. FTX's balance sheet was then leaked, and it showed that there was over $9 billion in liabilities with only $900 million reported assets, and poorly labeled entries throughout, showing an overall negative $8 billion balance. As customers rushed to withdraw their funds from due to the release of all these facts, FTX found itself facing a liquidity crisis. They were unable to meet these requests as it no longer had enough assets to back up and give back the customers' money, which led to FTX declaring bankruptcy. Shortly afterward, the fact that FTX had routinely transferred billions of dollars of customer funds with no customer knowledge or consent to Alameda Research's accounts came to light. At a certain time, as much as half of customers' funds inside of FTX were given to Alameda to cover its own losses. Additionally, there were many other personal transactions and withdrawals that happened where executives within FTX were taking money out of FTX for their own personal use. To perpetuate these activities, Bankman-Fried made false statements to financial institutions to conceal his misuse of customer dollar deposits. He directed the creation of fraudulent financial statements for Alameda's lenders, inflated FTX's revenues and profits in the numbers provided to investors, and backdated contracts and other documents to obscure his deceptive practices. FTX, being a private company, never had its balance sheets audited. This lack of audits means there was never any documented record of cash flow or assets to verify whether the company could actually meet its liabilities or even secure customer assets. When checked, the accounting books showed a staggering discrepancy between FTX's actual customer assets and the inflated figures on its balance sheet. This was no longer any ordinary financial oversight. It was a full-blown case of fraud and the illegal siphoning of customer money, which went against FTX's own terms of service outside of just the law. In total, FTX defrauded investors in FTX of more than $1.7 billion. For his involvement in these illegal activities, Sam Bankman-Fried was found guilty on 2 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts on conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit securities fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. In total, this led to Sam Bankman-Fried having a total sentencing of approximately 25 years. Sam Bankman-Fried violated core principles of corporate social responsibility, including accountability, transparency, respect for stakeholder interests, the rule of law, and ethical behavior. His disregard for accountability was evident in FTX's failure to maintain proper oversight of customer funds, allowing them to be used without authorization to cover losses at his hedge fund, Alameda Research. In terms of transparency, Bankman-Fried obscured FTX's financial instability from investors and customers, failing to disclose the risks tied to FTX's financial structure and high-risk practices. He disregarded stakeholder interest by using customer funds for speculative trading rather than safeguarding them, showing little respect for the financial well-being of FTX's users. Bankman-Fried's actions also demonstrated a blatant disrespect for the rule of law, as he directed the creation of false financial statements, inflated company revenues, and misled financial institutes to further his control over customer assets. His ethical failures extend to misleading marketing, portraying himself as a principal leader in philanthropy while exploiting users' trust and destabilizing the broader cryptocurrency market as a whole through his actions. At the heart of this controversy is the exploitation of trust. FTX was initially positioned as a responsible player in the cryptocurrency market, encouraging users to deposit their funds under the belief that their money was safe. This trust was betrayed by a failure to disclose risks associated with investments and the extent to which customer funds were used for speculative trading, neglecting the rights of users to make informed decisions. Moreover, FTX engaged in the manipulation of market conditions, artificially inflating value of its own cryptocurrency FTT by having Alameda buy a lot of it, which misled investors about the financial health of both FTX and its sister company Alameda Research. This deception fostered an illusion of stability and made it very predatory towards investors. The interconnectedness of FTX and Alameda Research also represented a glaring conflict of interest, allowing Alameda to freely access customer deposits without adequate safeguards. And in fact, it even enforced it so that Alameda was able to more easily access them through Sam Bankman-Fried's actions. This was further exacerbated by deceptive practices, including misleading financial statements, like I said before, and an opaque corporate structure designed to evade regulatory scrutiny. And like I said, the marketing of Sam Bankman-Fried as a champion of effective altruism stands as a stark contradiction to the reality of his actions. By prioritizing profit over ethical standards, he engaged in moral hypocrisy, leading to a catastrophic loss of trust in the cryptocurrency industry. This scandal serves as a sobering reminder of the devastating consequences when self-interest overrides ethical responsibility. The consequences of Sam Bankman-Fried's, which led to the subsequent bankruptcy of FTX and destruction of FTX as a total as a company and the implosion of it, led to market turmoil and a crash in cryptocurrency values, and triggered fear and skepticism among investors. Regulatory bodies around the world scrambled to respond to this high-profile collapse, scrutinizing the entire crypto sector with increased intensity. Long-term, the FTX scandal is likely to leave lasting scars on the industry, and the trust deficit it created among investors, consumers, and regulators will have ripple effects for years to come. Regulatory frameworks around cryptocurrency exchanges are tightening, forcing companies to operate with greater transparency, accountability, and compliance with traditional financial norms. Moreover, Sam Bankman-Fried's prosecution has set a legal precedent that unregulated and unaccountable crypto ventures may be nearing their end. What was the effect of FTX's collapse on its stakeholders? While the consequence of FTX's collapse on stakeholders is very widespread. For employees, hundreds of employees faced abrupt layoffs and uncertainty about where they were going to go next. What makes this even more disturbing is that many of them were not even notified of the company's bankruptcy until it was released in a statement on Twitter. Other than that, shareholders and institutional investors, due to FTX's downfall, was catastrophic. Large investment firms like Sequoia Capital and SoftBank invested heavily inside of FTX, drawn in by FTX's $32 billion valuation and reputation for innovation. When the company filed for bankruptcy, billions in shareholder value vanished overnight. And that was for everyone. This evaporation of investment capital damaged confidence in the cryptocurrency market as a whole, prompting even traditionally supported venture capitalists to reevaluate their exposure to high-risk, unregulated crypto companies. This loss also spurred shareholders to seek legal recourse with FTX, suing Sam Bankman. But what was the effect on consumers? Now, they were probably most affected by this change, and they're probably the hardest hit, as there are millions of FTX's customers, individuals and companies with significant funds locked up in FTX, and they were unable to access their savings because of this crash, with overall losses amounting to $8 billion when FTX declared a bankruptcy in November of 2022. The breach of trust here is monumental, causing long-lasting damage to consumer confidence in not only FTX, but the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem. The effect on associated companies by the destruction of FTX was also huge. Other than just Alameda and FTX, about 130 other associated companies all commenced voluntary Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which led to thousands of jobs lost and even more effect, almost billions of dollars lost. In summary, FTX's astonishing rise to a $32 billion powerhouse was built on Sam Bankman-Fried's charisma and promises of ethical innovation. But behind its facade, the company's actions were far from responsible. What makes this case even more particularly shocking is the deliberate and calculated nature of its ethical violations and unlawful practices. Bankman-Fried and associates didn't simply mismanage funds; they absolutely actively obscured the truth, transferring billions of customer assets to cover losses and pursue profits for their own hedge fund, Alameda Research. This wasn't negligence; it was a purposeful betrayal of transparency and trust. And the fallout of these self-serving choices goes beyond financial losses. It's a profound reminder that when power is abused for profit, the real costs are measured in broken trust and shattered lives. Thank you for joining us as we continue to unpack the biggest stories that are shaping our world. Stay tuned for more insights. And thank you for watching.